Hey everyone, this is Devon Joshi. I'm the web administrator for the Johnsonian, and welcome to another segment of Tech Tips. This week's Tech Tip is actually a little dedication to Carrie Green, who gave me the idea. And so, Carrie, if you're watching this, thank you very much for giving me the idea because I think it's a real problem that some people have. And that is, how do I use a hard drive with both Mac OS X and the Windows file systems? And the answer is, well, it's sort of easy, but it could be kind of complicated, and there's a free way and a pay for way. And so I'm going to go over all that information with you guys. And before we get too involved in it, let me let you guys know what kind of hardware I'm using. Um, Here you see two devices plugged in. One, Devon's hard drive is an external hard drive, it's USB powered, and then 2 gig is a flash drive that I have plugged in. And let's also take this time to tell you that I am running Mac OS X version 10.6.6. So if you're running Mac OS X, so basically Mac OS 10 or higher, you should have no problem. Everything should work the same way. If you're using a way older version of Mac, which I mean, I doubt you are, but if you are, I can't guarantee that the steps will follow the same line. But for all intents and purposes, everything should work out. So the problem is, let's say that I need a video or some large set of files transferred between the Windows environment and the Mac environment for whatever, whether it's video editing or what have you. How do I do it? Well, I always like to look at the problem first. And that means that let's look at the type of files we're going to be moving and the maximum size of those files. If all you need to do is move some papers, a few pictures, and even a small video between Windows and Mac, I would really suggest you use a flash drive. And the reason I say that is a flash drive will work. They just are they're compatible. That's the real thing. It's worry free. Um, you know, you won't have to fiddle with a lot of stuff, and it's just going to work every time. And so let's say you take a bunch of raw video. Um, let's say you have 2 or 3 videos that are about a gig a piece. If you have a 4 gig, 8 gig, or 16 gig flash drive, which they are out there now, uh, swap them on that flash drive, stick it in the Mac, and there you go, edit away. Um, And I know that for a lot of things that your file sizes might be bigger, and that might not be the best thing. What do I want the hard drive? Or you might have already bought the hard drive and you just don't want to invest in a jump drive, and that's perfectly understandable. But to prove a point, uh, here is 2 gig, which is a jump drive I have, and if I open it up, I have a little document called Hey Look, a Word document. I can put that there on the desktop, it'll work, and I can write back to it, and see, it's going to even tell me, look, you're trying to copy something onto this. Do you want to replace it? Sure, I do. And that proves the point that it works, that jump drives, when you put them into a Mac or a Windows, will recognize and allow you to read and write to them. And that's because jump drives run their own file system. It's called the FAT file system. And the FAT file system works with Mac, Windows, and Linux. And it's actually a really old file system, and that's why it's so compatible. It's really interesting that in this day and age, FAT's still around and it works. Um, and we won't get into, well, I won't get into why it works. That goes on a little nerdy venture that no one, that's a trip no one wants to take with me. And I forgive you. Now, moving on to the hard drives. I have plugged into this Mac right now, Devon's hard drive. And if I open that up, I can see that it recognizes it. Now, this hard drive is formatted in NTFS, which is the Windows file system, and that's different than what this MacBook is formatted in, the Mac file system. And let's just leave it to say that both of these file systems don't play well with each other. And in fact, if you plug in a hard drive formatted in Windows into a Mac, it'll let you read it, but it won't let you write. It becomes a read-only drive. And if you have a hard drive that's formatted for Mac and you plug it into Windows, it'll let you read it, but it won't let you write to it. It becomes a read-only drive. So these systems don't like to write to each other. And that's a real problem because whenever you want to move data back and forth, you need to read and write. So how do we get around that? Well, let's go ahead and prove a point too that, see, if I try to copy this document over into Devon's hard drive, it's just not going to happen. Well, like I said earlier, flash drives are formatted in the FAT file system work. So one could ask the question, why don't I just format the hard drive in FAT? Well, there's two reasons that I can think of. Reason one would be that there are some compatibility issues, and I know some people who have had issues with files getting corrupted. Essentially, when you format into FAT, it's not as stable and files can get messed up. However, some other people have done it and it works great for them, which leads me into my second issue with doing that, and that's a limitation on the largest file you can. Let's say you have a terabyte hard drive and you plug it in. If you format that to FAT, everything will be great, but the largest file you could put in there would be around 4 gigs. And if you have a terabyte hard drive, that means you're probably moving some serious files around. And if you're going to be limited to only 4 gigs, you're kind of stuck. However, if you're not in that problem, if you don't have that problem at all, you know that whatever files you're going to be doing will be a lot of files, but each file will be always under 4 gigs, and you can format the drive in FAT. And let me show you how to do that on Mac OS X. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize the drive, and I'm going to go here, go to the Finder, go, Utilities. And when the Utilities window pops up, you're going to look for the disk utility. And there it is right there. It's the hard drive with the stethoscope on it. And you just double click on that to open it up. And there you go. It's going to show me all the drives on here, and I want to select my external hard drive. You click on it once, and then to format it into FAT, just hit erase, and then just choose MS-DOS FAT, and you can click a name. Now, a word of caution, whenever you talk about formatting drives, realize that what you're doing is you're erasing everything on the hard drive and then changing the way it works on the inside at the computer level. So, it's not important to know what's going on, but just know that you're going to erase everything. So, whenever you talk about formatting it, make sure you back up your data before you do that, because you will lose it all. So basically, you'd put it in, do it, hit erase right down here. I'm not going to do it because I like my data right now, but you hit erase, and there you go. It'll go through the process and format it. And then you'll be ready to plug and play into both Windows and the Mac. And then keep in mind that you won't be able to use file formats or files that are bigger than 4 gigabytes apiece. Now, there is another alternative that is not free, but it takes care of the problem of having, limited file size. So if you open up a browser, in this case I'm going to open up Chrome, whatever browser you're using. I'm just going to search for Mac Drive. And you go to the first link right there. And Mac Drive is a program that you can download. It costs around, I'd say around $40, and you can also download a free trial right there as I show it. And Mac Drive is a program that you install on the Windows machine, and it will let you read a hard drive formatted for Mac. So essentially what you would have to do then is go back to the disk utility, format the hard drive in one of these Mac OS standards, and if you ever have any questions about that, feel free to email me about it. They are different, and I'll give you my email at the end of this video. But you would format it in one of the Mac OS formats, and then once you were done, you'd be able to obviously plug in the hard drive into the Mac and it'd work fine. And then you install Mac Drive, so whenever you plugged it into your Windows machine, Mac Drive would talk between the hard drive and Windows and let you use all the files just like a normal hard drive would. Again, this is a solution that works if you're willing to invest it and if you think that you're going to need to. I'm not sure if there's a reverse way, or you can format a hard drive in Windows and use it in Mac. I'm sure it's possible for one, but Mac Drive I know is a really popular version out there with a lot of professionals who do this kind of work. So what's my takeaway on it? Well, if you know that you are going to be working consistently between Windows and Mac every day, every week, this, and you know that your file size is going to be too big for FAT, then I can start to see where Mac Drive would become useful. However, if this is a once in a while thing, uh, and you're a PC user and you really don't want to do this kind of stuff on the Mac, I would really, really, really encourage you guys to either get a flash drive that's large enough for you to do it, or just to work straight off the Mac from the get-go, because it is a pain, and things don't necessarily translate one-to-one. So that's really all I could find in terms of solutions out there. If anyone watching has a solution that they've come up with, or something that they use to help get around this problem, please let us know. Email me at joshed@mytjnow.com. And also, if you guys ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me. Again, my email is joshed@mytjnow.com. And from this point on, we're also going to be doing other topics in science for our tech tips. So just let us know via email. Coming up, we have something in the physics realm, and we have something coming up in the general chemistry realm. So thanks for watching.